Hello, ladies and gentle dads. Wasn't sure if I should go with gentle dads or daddy men. Well, we'll see how that rolls off the tongue. I have a confession to make. This weekend, I went a bit on the dark side. I had some extra time and some extra currency. Everyone's been talking about Valdo's and doing the Nemesis strategy, and I just really wanted to see what it was all about. Um, this is a not dad friendly strategy. This is just like one tier below pretty hardcore min maxing. So you kind of just gotta. This is just a buckle it down. Like this is the absolute end game of I just want to run super juice maps, get crazy drops, and spend a lot of time clicking and picking up loot. It was honestly pretty tiring just running it. I only ran a handful of maps. It was pretty tiring, and I don't think I could do more than a few of these a night, just because it's tiring and it's a little stressful. All of the loot is incredible, but it's you got to set it up properly, and honestly, the profits they're very good. But as we'll see, I'm going to go into a lot of detail with the actual cost that went into this and what we get out of it. So you can make your own judgment if you want to invest in this. This is just me presenting the strategy. I'm not particularly recommending it. It is very good, but you have to be ready for for buckling in and knowing what you're doing. So let's get into it. All right, so here it is. The winnings from doing the GG endgame Nemesis strategy that all the big boys that are playing a lot and investing into, this is what they're doing. And yeah, I really wanted to just see what it was all about, see if it was worth doing, see if it was even viable for a regular player. Maybe this will convince you to do it. Maybe it'll scare you away, but at least you'll have the information. So on a lot of the videos that I made and on the Reddit posts, people have been saying like, "Oh, looks very cool, good strategy," but I just can't tear myself away. I think the literal words is just like I can't take myself away from the Valdo's farm. It's too good, even though it's a lot of work. And I had to see what it was all about. So how does it work? Well, it is all based around this modifier. It is the Nemesis monsters drop 3 additional basic currency items Watchstones Sextant modifier. It only comes from Awakened Sextants, which is a big part of the pain of setting this up. Awakened Sextants are 30 to 1 Exalt. And if you get really unlucky, which I did, the first time I rolled it, it took me 5 Exalts, 150 Sextants to hit Nemesis monsters the first time. But I figured out a better way to do that, so it's not as bad in the future. And so I estimated that down in my spreadsheet that you'll see in a minute. The way it works is every time you kill a Nemesis monster, which with the rare monsters each have a Nemesis mod on your map, every single rare monster on your map is a Nemesis monster. So it will drop 3 additional basic currency items, which could be everything from a Wisdom Scroll to an Exalt to even a mirror. Did not get any mirrors. I guess that would have thrown the results a little out of whack. And so you go for this modifier, and then you want additionally really, really good modifiers. I'm a big fan of this Mysterious Harbinger one. And then you can kind of pick and choose what you want in addition to that. You can get like additional Blight Encounter. You can get, just additional packs of monsters. A really good one is the 5 additional rare monster packs. And then you go into your map and you kill monsters, and they drop an insane amount of currency. To ensure that to min-max this as much as possible, you may have noticed that I have an Auspicious Watchstone. This means that the currency shards that Harbingers drop in your Valdo's Rest will drop rare value currency shards. And as you saw from this, so for example, this is from 6 maps total. I got 7 Exalts. 7, I mean, there are a couple Exalted shards, so maybe 6 full Exalts dropped, and then the Exalted shards push it over. But yeah, like almost every map I got a full Exalt that dropped, which is just like 6 maps in a row, Exalt every single map. Like it got to the point where it would have felt bad if I didn't get an Exalt. It's pretty crazy. But for the investment, you kind of really need that Exalt. You're kind of gambling on it to have good profits. So the auspicious, in my opinion, is very, very critical. There are other YouTube videos out there that have done extensive testing, and they have determined that auspicious is just absolutely worth it. I'll take a look, and I'll find the one that I saw yesterday, and I'll link it in the description below. In addition to that, the best thing to get is Laden. I think you want to get 2 Ladens and 1 Harbingers. I was not able to hit Laden, so I rolled all these myself. Well, not the auspicious. I bought this one. This is very, very hard to hit. You basically just have to buy it. It's like a 37 weighting out of like 80,000. So you're probably just not going to hit it. You're probably just not going to hit it. So unfortunately, you kind of have to buy it. So Laden means they just drop more currency shards. And then, actually, I have 2 Ladens, and then I have 1 Harbingers. I actually have the right setup. I guess I got lucky. I didn't even augment this one, which I will do right now. Nice. Okay, I'll take that. So this is basically the ideal setup. Actually, is an auspicious, 2 Ladens, and a Harbingers. That means you get an additional Harbinger, and then you just have more currency shards that drop, and then rare currency shards that drop. And that means that you're getting multiple exalted shards every single pack of Harbingers. And you get an increased chance of getting a mirror shard, which I also did not get. So that's the basic setup. The tech that I did for rolling the Nemesis monster currency item modifier is I went to PoEDB and I looked at the weighting of the modifiers in the group. All right, so this is the while slightly inscrutable, this is the only place that I've actually found this. It's not on Craft of Exile even. So you can see the weighting of the modifiers here. This is the number. Basically, the higher the weight, the more likely you are to hit it when you're rolling. And you can see that Nemesis only has a weight of 250, whereas all of these other ones have a weight of 1,000. And in fact, there's actually some that are even rare. The mission ones have a weight of 125. And so at 30 to 1 Exalt for your Awakened Sextants, you're looking at a lot of money spent if you don't hit that. So, which is what I did. I just kind of YOLO'd in, and it took me 5 Exalts to hit it the first time. However, I thought about it, or my friend brought it up, we were chatting about it, and what you can do is use simple sextants. And so, for example, like the cold damage or increased physical damage, all these, you can use simple sextants to get like the low version of it, and that will block that modifier, even the awakened one, from showing up when you're rolling your Watchstone. So what you do is you take your 3 basic, your Conqueror Watchstones, you put them in and you just pre-roll them with like cold, fire, fizz, chaos, lightning, whatever, the very heavy ones that you just use it with your simple sextant, and you can use these to block the awakened versions to show up. And then you put in your Watchstone that you want to roll for, and you can just spam your Awakened Sextants on it until you get Nemesis. And that way you're blocking some like 3,000 weight of stuff you don't want to hit, and that will make it a lot easier to hit. And so after the first set of maps, I did it again. This is actually the 3rd time I've rolled it. I would say that I average it in about 1 to 2 Exalts now instead of 5. So way, way better. All right, and then the next step of setting it up is rolling your maps. What I did is I had a tab of 6 maps. That's how many I ran last night. I chiseled and elked them, and then I typed Nemesis down here, or just Nema. And so once they're already rare, which these ones are not, let's make these rare. Chisel and rare them up. Boom, boom, boom. So we hit Nemesis on that guy. And then I took a Chaos Orb and I just went down the line with a Chaos Orb until all of the maps were highlighted. And then I knew I had Nemesis maps there. If you really, really, really want to min-max, you could even corrupt them or roll until you have even higher Nemesis. So for example, this one has 21% more rare monsters. I actually would use a Divine Orb on this to get that closer to 30%, because each rare monster could be a Divine Orb on its own. And I actually think, like, if we want to fully min-max this, you want to get that more rare monsters as high as possible, because it's a very big multiplier on the monsters that show up. And then what we did is I can show it in my spreadsheet. Here is we would run it with a Winged Harbinger Scarab, a Rusted Blight Scarab, a Rusted Metamorph Scarab, and a Rusted Elder Scarab. This is probably not the perfect setup. Rusted Metamorph or Legion. And so this is probably not the perfect setup. Like, it might have even been worth running like a Winged Legion or something like that. It's like, this is kind of a mix of what I had and what was available last night to buy very quickly. The most important thing, of course, is the Harbinger. Oh yeah, also very, very important is you have these Harbinger nodes here. Ominous Arrival, area contains additional Harbinger. And then Diplomatic Escort. This was changed in 3.14. It used to be Harbingers have reinforcements, which would just bring in, there would be one pack of Harbies that was just gigantic. You could pop the whole thing almost instantly. And I guess GGG decided that that was too good, and they decided to nerf it. So instead is now every Harbinger on the map has a 1 in 3 chance to be replaced with the Harbinger boss, which the Harbinger boss alone is basically as good as the old reinforcements. So now we have a chance to roll a bunch of the reinforcement. It's like they kind of buffed it. It's like crazy. GGG said they changed it. I mean, I don't think they explicitly said nerf, but honestly, it feels like a buff as long as your build can handle it. Also, for the small nodes here, the Harbingers drop additional stack of currency shards. We're just stacking as much currency as possible. It's just raining. Like, the hardest part about doing this is picking up the loot afterwards. And then I chose Blight here. I've seen people use Metamorph, and Metamorphs dropped a decent amount, but I think the chance for Blights to drop Blighted maps especially is really, really good. Like, each Blighted map is worth about 20 to 40 chaos depending on the tier and exactly which map it is. And as you can see, we got 3 of them. So I really, really value this. Yeah, like the price is kind of going down, but around 20 chaos per that you can like reliably go for. So I think it's pretty good. Also, very, very important is Enduring Influence, because we're spending so much money on our rolling for that Nemesis modifier. You want that to count, that you get 33% more, right? If you get Enduring Influence, it saves you a lot of money in the long run. Secrets of the Stone, critical, obviously, to just juice up your Watchstones even more. I find Remnants of the Past incredibly good for profitability. Every Shaper map sells for about 14 chaos, and Elder Guardian maps sell for about 20 to 25, depending on the tier. It's a gigantic boost of money. Like, each one of those maps that drops is worth over a Divine. Like, really, really good. And so that's basically the whole setup. Roll the maps, get those Scarabs, and go in there and kill monsters and pick up a comical amount of currency. Like, I was honestly feeling like, there's all the memes about feeling the weight of clicking things up, of clicking on things and picking them up, and I really, really felt it during this. We really do need currency stacking, just like at least like 2x stack of stuff if possible. It's I hope they do it soon. This was crazy. So going to the spreadsheet. So this is, full transparency. This is everything that I put into it, and then everything that I got out of it. And then so we can also, so here, like, total profit so far, thus far, I'm at 13.3x minus 11x. So I'm only 2.3x full profit right now. So I have to keep doing this to realize actual gains. So the big thing was I actually initially bought 4 Watchstones, and I wanted to roll Auspicious. I was like, maybe I hit Auspicious. I didn't. I did hit 2 Ladens and a Harbingers. If you want to save effort and all that, just buy the Watchstones already rolled up. It'll cost a little. It won't cost a ton more. Like, I think you can get those ones for maybe just a couple exalts more. It's probably worth the effort, considering I spent a decent amount of alterations to hit what I wanted, and alterations are about 400 per exalt. And then so what I did is I ran in 2 different sets here. So this is my first 4 maps that I ran, and I used Winged Harbinger Scarabs. And then I ran 2 more maps. I was wondering, like, because a Winged costs 120 C right now, and a Gilded costs 45 C. And I was like, oh, am I really averaging 80 chaos more per map if I'm using the Winged versus the Gilded? Yes, the Gilded is worth it. I can tell you that. As you can see right here, with the Winged, we had almost 400 C per map profit, and from Gilded, we had 217 C per map profit. So yeah, it took me about 1 to 2 hours. Like, I wanted to do this right, so I didn't just like YOLO, like full YOLO in. I did some research. I watched some YouTube videos. There's actually not that much information out there. I was mostly looking at exactly what people did last league, which I had also done, and kind of cross-reference that with things that have changed this league. And then for each map, you buy a Winged Harby. And then, yeah, as I was saying, you can use whatever seems best. Like, you know, all we're trying to do is juice the number of rares as possible. Oh, also, I used Elva missions. This is, you know, doesn't have an exact cost on it, but I tested Einhar. I tested June. June super does not work, especially the research safe house seems like it doesn't get affected by the Nemesis modifier. So I thought, like, in research, maybe those rares would drop currency shards. They didn't at all. So June just does not work, which, you know, is kind of unfortunate. Like, you wish, if you want to min-max your profits, right, you would think that you could, like, run June and then sell Ashlings or whatever after, right? But unfortunately, it's an anti-synergy with this strategy. To run a Winged map, it costs 208 chaos of initial investment. And I'm averaging about 2 exalts to hit the Nemesis modifier. That could be higher or lower depending on your luck. That's just what it felt like when I rolled it 3 different times. And then for a Gilded map, it costs 133 C each. We got 2,400 chaos total from the 4 with Winged, and only 700 in the 2 without Winged. It's a pretty stark contrast, honestly. And then each map takes about 10 to 15 minutes to run itself. You have to kill a lot of these King Harbies. They take a long time to load all of their textures with the texture streaming, and to just constantly, you know, it's like doing a beachhead. So when you see the King, he just, like, slowly comes out and summons waves of monsters. It's cool, really cool loot explosions. You do have to hide the loot the entire time because you just will not see the monsters. But it's really good currency. It's very profitable. You know, I would say, like, 10 minutes to kill all the monsters, and then 5 minutes of just purely picking up loot. Sometimes more, depending on how strict your loot filter is. Halfway through, I actually had to change my loot filter and turn off Orb of Horizon Shards, and Orbs of Binding. And, you know, depending on how sellable alchemies are and all that, I may actually have to turn alchemies off as well if I keep doing this strategy. It's really so much loot, and you'll see in the gameplay at the end. It's so much loot. It's actually very overwhelming. In running 6 maps, we got in profit. This is profit after the cost. This is pure profit. We got 13.3 exalts. Now, the Watchstones themselves cost 11 exalts, so we're only 2.3x in profit right now. And of course, you know, there's a lot of stuff in here that won't sell, so I'm probably actually in the negative right now. You know, looking at this, I'm not gonna properly sell all these maps. You know, the big ticket items, right? We have 1,050 chaos in just raw exalts, so that is what it is. In chaos orbs themselves, we do have 243 raw chaos, which is very cool. I wish the chaos actually sorted to the top in here. So, you know, we can just say in raw currency, we're at like 1,800 chaos. So not too awful. And then the rest of the stuff we have to sell. So it's pretty good. You know, I am still, just for running 6 maps, I am in the hole right now. But you know, if I do this for another couple of nights, and then once it's set up, so, you know, just, you know, trying to inspire the dads a little bit. Once it is set up, which, you know, it's a big cost, but if you do the strategies in the previous videos, you can make this amount of money in just a couple of nights. The very cool thing about this is it operates independently from the fluctuations in the market. We are just getting raw currency. Now, I guess not fully independent. We do have to, we are going to be a little worried about the cost of scarabs. This will really be what determines our profitability. However, unless this goes up significantly, as long as winged harpies are not crazy, and worst case, we can buy gilded. We're still getting over an exalt profit per map. Pretty good. We're okay. And the rest of these things are really cheap. So I think the nice thing is, once it's set up, the only real cost is buying scarabs and getting the awakened sextants and getting that nemesis modifier. And I think if you're doing the blocking like I show here with the 3 common modifiers, the 2 times that I rolled it after I set the blocking, I did it in about 20 and 20 awakened sextants, so in less than an exalt. So it's actually worked out pretty well. We'll see over time if that is a decent average. That's a, you know, small sample size, but it's felt a lot better with the blocking. So yeah, profits were really good. Running the map was really, it's a interesting contrast to the other strategies that we've seen. You know, be prepared to click a lot. It's pretty intense. Very profitable, very good. You know, you're gonna have to do this to like really see like significant profit. You're gonna have to do it probably for about 30 to 50 maps to like really feel like you're super profitable for the time that you invested. But I enjoyed it. It's a nice variety. Now that I'm set up, it's no big deal. I can do it. And you know, dad warning, if it's too much, don't worry about it. There's plenty of other ways to make money. It's just another option that's out there. So yeah, cool strategy. It either inspired you or scared you away, but now you have the information and you can choose to do it if you want to, or choose to tell your friends about it if you want to. So yeah, if you liked it, or you want, you know, if you have any other ideas, you know, like and comment and all that. And if you want to see more like this, I'm also going to be doing build guides and crafting stuff in the future. So subscribe if you want to get that content, and I'll leave you guys with some crazy gameplay. Thanks.